Zenless Zone Zero. A lot of people have been kind of negative about the game. I figured I'd watch a short video about it. Game is ass.
So I want to talk about the real reason why people are not satisfied with Zenless Zone Zero. Of course, we're showing my opinion on the game. So let's get straight to the point. The first real reason why people are not satisfied with the game is like the game is too easy for them. All you have to do is left click. Some people aren't feeling the rewards from the gameplay, but I actually want to preface this and I want to say that the game for me is kind of enjoyable. I will probably rate it a 6 out of 10, maybe a 6 and
that was my number 2 for it. Yeah, 6 out of 10. The other thing is like with Wuthering Waves just got released and it was already like, because people have a direct recent frame of reference to compare this to. So anybody who's looking for like a combat game that's like responsive and shit, this game just isn't it, bro. It's just not it.
half if I'm generous, but I want to say that the first like 20 levels of the game aren't very enjoyable until you actually get to the new modes and try some end game mode, and it becomes a little more challenging the more you play it. And I think that if the game is going to be always casual like that, it's going to only like get a very niche audience, and it will probably be my first gacha game that I play on mobile. I do not enjoy gacha games on mobile, but I think this is...
I've never played one of these games on mobile other than Honkai Star Rail to do my dailies. Other than that, no. Like, the reason why the game isn't responsive, no, the game is very responsive. It plays very well, right? Like, it's not like there are no bugs really in the game, at least that I've encountered. All of the intangible things like that are pretty much good. The problem with the game is that it's just less than a lot of other games. The combat is less than other games. The world is less than other games. The characters are, I think, less than other games. It's just, like, this game would have been great if it came out right after Honkai Impact 3rd in, like, 2018 or 19. But compared to the market now, with, like, games like Genshin, Star Rail... You've got that Azure Permilia game coming out, Wuthering Waves. A lot of these other games are just so much better. It's built on doing money. Yeah, what's the story? I don't know. I might play a bit more of it myself and see what it's about. But yeah, that's the way I feel about it.
Going to be a good one. But another reason why people aren't satisfied, I think that if the game launched before Wuthering Waves, I would think that it would get a better reception, because people already tried how you can get one shot from bosses and how a lot of...
Yeah, that's true. Like, having Wuthering Waves release before this game made this game look like garbage. Absolutely. But I think also we're seeing that inside of an echo chamber of people that are like more serious gamers that are watching YouTube videos about these games. So like there's a good chance that Zenless Zone Zero could be very popular with brain dead normies. Like if you're thinking of normies with the brain capacity of like a vacuum cleaner, then maybe this game could be popular.
Modes aren't that easy, and then we went to a very easy game.
A hand vacuum cleaner, by the way, not like one of the big ones. That'd be too much.
I can see that point, but to be honest, let's be real, the game is overhated. I think that a lot of people are either hating for fun, or the things that they don't like are just personal preference. Like for example, let's talk about the TV mode, okay? The TV mode is probably the worst thing they did on the game. And I actually agree that the TVs in a lot of things kind of useless. Like why did you put TVs here and there, and a lot of it in the main story? Like they need to change that. They need to make it easier for a lot of people. To be honest, in modes like the simulated universe of this game, I actually enjoyed the TVs. Yes, I thought they had a meaning inside this mode, in only this mode. I thought, okay, keep the TVs in this mode. This is good. But in a lot of other modes, in a lot of other ways you play the game, there's no need to do TVs every time. So they definitely need to change TVs. But at the same time, I found that TVs are kind of personal preference too. Like I found some people that like TVs, and even
I'm sure some people like it, some people don't like it. That's the same as anything else. The TVs, so you go from like, imagine like right here, you go from here to here to here. Like theoretically from the different TVs, and it's like a maze inside of the level. And then on certain one of these TVs, there's a bad guy and you have to go inside the TV and kill the bad guy. That's basically the way that it works. I think here's also another issue, is like if I pull up my own video about it. So if I look at right here, for example, and then I look at right here, for example, I am in basically the exact same place. There's nothing really new about this. There's nothing that's unique or different or anything like that. I'm doing the exact same thing, spawning in the exact same place. It's repetitive. Yeah, it is. And I think that's also another big issue. It's super repetitive.
Myself, I kind of enjoy them sometimes. I won't say that I never enjoy TVs and puzzles, but maybe because I like puzzles, you know? Would I say that most people like puzzles? I don't think so. No, the Zenless Zone Zero experience is good to see, not to play. At least for day one. After that, the game improves even more, like I'm in day 2 now. But day 1 feels kind of slow, it feels kind of annoying, the game is easy. Although the gameplay looks very, very good, it's not very enjoyable. It has some depth in it, but you don't need it. That's my problem with Genshin. But even Genshin was more enjoyable as a start, or even for a whole month or two to look.
Well, it's like if you play Genshin, like already visually, look at that. That looks amazing. Like compare that to this. This sucks. It's depressing. Everything is gray. Like, it just sucks. Like, I don't know what else I can really say beyond that. It just fucking sucks. Let me see if I can find another image of, like, combat. And also, like, everything out in this open world, you can go and do. And you can do that right from the beginning of the game. And that's the same as Wuthering Waves or any of these games. They're open world games. So, like, what do you do inside of Wuthering Waves if you just want to play the game? Not a lot.
Learn how to do the reaction, to dodge sometimes, but here the mobs need like to hit you like 20-30 times to kill you. This is insane. At least from the start. I'm talking like this is the start of the game.
Yeah.
And I do not
yeah, if I say Wuthering Waves, I mean this is Zenless Zone Zero. Yeah, sorry about that.
To kill you, this is insane. At least from the start. I'm talking like this is the start of the game. And I do know the game has to be easy from the start, especially for gachas. Even Wuthering Waves, the crownless fight, the first crownless fight is easy, but I think that they went too easy on the players. But looking at the gameplay is very, very smooth. There's something about the game that's very smooth that I like. The movement looks very cool. There's a lot of things that are good in the game, but you cannot use that. You know, you cannot utilize what you're doing. So I do not think that the game is bad. I think there's a lack of difficulty in the game. That's it. Because, for example, I like this.
Well, the lack of difficulty comes from a lack of complexity. There's only like one thing that you can do. You can use your skill, you can use your ultimate, and you can press spacebar to change your character or dodge. Like, there's just not a lot of depth there. And, like, even inside of Elden Ring, like, you could say, oh, it's like Elden Ring, there's not a lot of attacks. Like, there are a lot of ways that you can do the same attack. Like, for example, in this game, you can't even jump. That's crazy.
Story. I like how they present the story, even though I didn't expect to like it. I was like, okay, this is a visual novel. I won't be able to like this story, but no, the story was actually enjoyable to me. The gameplay is also...
The story so far, I thought, has been... It's not as bad as the beginning of the Wuthering Waves story. I think that it is better than that. But that's like beating the slowest person in a race. That doesn't mean you're fast.
Enjoyable. There's some cool strategy to it if the mobs are doing some damage, which they will do when you progress into the game. But it's still not enough for now. I hope that the more I progress into the game, a little challenging. I want to need to dodge at least once or twice. Because for now, especially day one, it felt like button mashing. You only like use left click and that's it. But here I want to call some people that are going like, okay, PGR is better. Here's the thing. I only played 15 hours of PGR. And I'm gonna be real, I think that PGR is just mashing the same button. The gameplay...
PGR, who gives a fuck about that? That's Punishing Grey Raven. That game came out like 8 years ago, 6 years ago. Who gives a fuck about that? That's their old game. They also, like the people that made the game, agree that it's outdated. That's why they made a new game. Nobody gives a shit about that game anymore. It's dead.
looks flashy and looks even better than Zenless Zone Zero, but I think that PGR also has the same problem, at least in the first 15 hours. I only clicked the same abilities and I finished the whole content that I played. Now you might say, and I want PGR players to confirm this in the comments, you might say PGR will actually become more challenging afterwards and you will have to use other buttons, so don't hate about PGR. Okay, exactly. Do not hate about...
I'm not a fan of games that basically the entire story of the game is like zero gameplay effort, just brain dead. Because I think that whenever you have that, you don't teach players how to get better at the game. They just stay bad, and then they finally hit the point where it's like they hit the reality checkpoint. And because it's so late in the game, and they've already developed like an ego for the game, it makes them feel bad and they quit. It's kind of like the WoW difficulty curve where it's like, okay, it's like, ooh, there it is, right? That's Mythic Plus. So like the difficulty and everything that's involved and like expected of you just like multiplies by 10. But then you can start to pay? Yeah, true.
Zenless Zone Zero from the start, but
it's like Elden Ring's the same way, right? Like Elden Ring challenges you immediately. It says, here's the Tree Sentinel. You know, are you ready to get fucked up? So yeah, it's like all games are like this. All good games are like this. I mean,
the start, as an opinion, I think the start of the game isn't the best, isn't the most enjoyable. Does it deserve all the hate for now? No, we need to complete the whole thing. I actually don't think players should...
I disagree with this mindset. I don't like the mindset that you have to play the entire game in order to think that it's bad. Now, I think that, again, like, what he's saying has some merit, but I don't think that it invalidates opinions. So if you've played the game for like 2 hours and you thought the time that you spent playing the game was wasted, then you have wasted your time and the game is bad, and that's absolutely fair. It's 100% fair. So, like, if you do that, and like the first impressions of a game absolutely matter, and I would argue that they matter more than the end game. Because if the first impressions are so bad that people don't even get through them, then who cares how good the end game is? Nobody's ever going to see it.
Do everything. Let content creators do their thing. Let some...
Yeah, first impressions are incredibly valid. New players and new player experience is super valid.
Free-to-play players go through the whole content and you can see some different opinions about the game. For me, the game is a 6 out of 10. I'm not quitting the game any sooner. Even though the game feels like a hack and slash now, it kind of feels fun. And I can see that it's promising. The devs are doing a bad job in presenting how the game will look like in the future, because they sometimes say, okay, it's a casual game. And then in the live stream, go ahead and say, we will implement more harder things in the future. So yes, I will also...
I don't think these are necessarily exclusive. I feel like you can have hard content and still have a casual game. It really just depends. If you're hooked by endgame, you'll stay. You have to wait until endgame for the good stuff. It won't work. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like, here's a good example. Like in Star Rail, the Star Rail entry level experience was very good. You know, where it's like you're going through new boss fights regularly, then you fight this big guy, and then you're on like a fucking a train. Like shit's happening immediately. You're going to another planet. Like things are already like popping off. Things are happening all the time. And then you have like Wuthering Waves, right? You're immediately getting into the combat. You immediately get your 3 characters. You're automatically doing stuff. Like, and there's the little things where, can you even choose which character you swap to? Or do you just press spacebar and it swaps the next character around? You can choose. You press C to swap to previous. Okay.
Blame Hoyoverse for what they did. So anyway, that was my opinion. We will see in the future. That was the video. Bye bye.
Yeah. I'm gonna be real. I think that this game needs a lot of work. I think it needs an insane amount of work. I'll link you guys the video. Like, I think the people that are saying this game is good are on, like, massive fucking copium. Like, I'll finish, I'll do more spins on the game, do it a little bit more today. But, like, I don't know, like, after I play this game, like, for, like, maybe a couple more days, I don't really see myself going and, like, getting really involved with it, right? And it's not amazing. Yeah, it's just, it's not amazing. It's not like it's awful, right? It's not that it's bad. Like, it's a 6, right? And a 6 is a really good number. 6 is a great number. But I think that if you compare it to, like, the other 2 titles that they have, right? Like, you look at Genshin and Star Rail, This game is like a distant third place. Very, very distant third place. Like it's not even, in my opinion, remotely close.